Everything begins with a phase that may not seem spectacular at first glance, yet it is absolutely critical to the entire project: building the floor base. Resting directly on the cured concrete slab, thick timber joists are set one by one into their designated positions. Each piece is measured twice, trimmed to the correct length, and set down with remarkable care. The builder repeatedly checks that everything sits level, nudging and adjusting until every millimeter is right. These joists form the backbone of the underground room. Even the slightest misalignment here could compromise the structural integrity of everything built above them. The spacing between each joist is consistent, leaving no vulnerable spots. Fasteners, mounting hardware, and connection points are all installed with care and firmness. With the joist framework firmly anchored in place, the next phase involves covering it with broad timber sheeting. The moment these large, flat boards go down, the raw construction space begins to look and feel like an actual room taking shape. Sheet after sheet is laid in sequence, fitted snugly against one another to eliminate any gaps. This is the moment when the cellar starts to take on its true form. The builder constructs the wooden wall frames by assembling studs and horizontal plates, while everything is still flat on the floor. Once assembled, the frames are tilted upright and locked into their final vertical positions. Temporary supports brace each wall to prevent any unwanted movement. Metal connectors and anchor plates are used to tie the walls firmly to the floor and to one another, giving the structure the strength it needs to resist the lateral pressure of the surrounding earth. As the initial walls go up one after another, the interior of the space begins to emerge, like watching a blueprint leap off the page and become something you can actually step inside. The room gains clear definition, and the whole endeavor suddenly feels tangible. With the walls standing firm, attention shifts to building the overhead structure. Sturdy wooden beams are stretched across the top of the room, creating a ceiling framework. These are spaced at regular intervals to spread the load evenly, then secured in place with metal hardware. The ceiling beams serve a dual purpose. They carry the overhead load while also locking the tops of the walls together, keeping the entire structure rigid. Once the framing is complete, flat timber panels are installed across the ceiling surface. Each sheet pressed into place, fastened tightly, and checked for level. As the last ceiling panels are fixed in place, the room below grows noticeably dimmer, and for the first time, you get a real sense of what it will be like to stand inside a fully enclosed underground space. Keeping moisture out is among the most important challenges of any underground construction project, and this step directly addresses it. A thick, flexible, waterproof sheet is unrolled across the entire roof surface with methodical care. The membrane is pulled smooth and flat. Any crease or air bubble left in place risks becoming a pathway for water over time. Overlapping edges are sealed with adhesive or tape, and every corner and joint is pressed firmly to form an unbroken barrier against water infiltration. Whether rainfall is heavy or snow begins to melt above, this layer ensures the interior below stays completely dry. For a structure living beneath the ground, where moisture is an ever-present threat, this waterproofing layer is not optional. It is essential to the long-term health of the build. This step brings the most visually memorable moment of the entire project. A circular cutout is made in the roof, the edges are prepared and sealed, and then a curved glass dome is mounted into the opening, functioning much like a skylight for a hidden underground room. Beyond its visual impact, the dome serves a very practical purpose. It channels natural daylight directly into the space below, reducing dependence on electric lighting during daytime hours. The fitting must be executed with precision. The dome needs to be perfectly sealed to prevent any water ingress. Once installed, the roof takes on a striking appearance, part modern design feature, part secret hideout hatch. It elevates the entire aesthetic of the project in one move. With the outer shell fully weatherproofed and protected, work moves to the inside of the cellar. Internal wall frames are assembled and erected to divide the open volume into separate, purposeful zones. Perhaps a dedicated storage bay, a workshop corner, or a private retreat area. Each partition frame is carefully positioned, attached to both the floor and the ceiling structure, and verified to stand perfectly plumb. Gradually, the large open cavity is subdivided into a collection of usable rooms, each with its own clear function. It is easy to picture how the space will look once insulation is fitted, cables are run, lighting is installed, and surfaces are finished. This final structural phase marks the shift from raw construction to interior fit-out. The underground cellar has evolved from a mere excavation into a purpose-built subterranean environment, ready for the finishing work ahead.